Hello. I got some gouges to sharpen, so I just want to make sure my stone is in my wheel is in good shape. Alright, this type of wheel dresser, it's T-shaped. The face of this is got diamond particles embedded in it, and that does a good job of cleaning the stone. It's not necessarily going to do the best job of truing the stone if the stone is not running through, because you're going to be going in and out with it. For truing the stone, you better to use a single point diamond with a guide of some kind. This is just a piece of wood with a hole drilled in it and threaded for a thumb screw to lock it. And I reference off the front of the table, so I want to make sure the table is locked in position. And I don't want to take any more than I absolutely have to, so right now I'm probably not going to be taking any. So now I could adjust this in a little bit, or I can move the table in a little bit. In this particular case, I'm going to move the table in, I think. And I think I'm going to be touching the problem with that is you're making pretty coarse adjustments, and you're probably going to wear your stone down much faster than you need to. It's probably better to use something with micro adjustment. I don't happen to have anything like that, so I just make do with what I've got. So that stone should be running true, and the next few times probably quite a few times, I'll just use this to clean it. And really only if I notice I'm having a problem will I go back and true it back up again with the other one. Alright, so I have a new gouge that I purchased. Okay. Now, as received or as purchased, is it focusing? Doesn't look like it is to me. As purchased, it comes with standard grind, traditional grind, whatever you want to call it, where the heel of the bevel is straight all the way around. Okay, If I want to make this a side grind gouge, then I have to reshape it. And since this particular gouge is actually double-ended, I'm going to reshape one end into a side ground gouge and leave the other end as a traditional grind gouge. And then I can use it either way, or I can use the side grind gouge until there's nothing left, and then reshape this end into a side ground gouge and use that till there's nothing left. So it's just whatever I want to do, but for the moment what I'm going to do is reshape that into a side ground gouge. So the first thing I'm going to do is grind on both wings to get the profile that I want. So I'm going to be putting both wings against the stone and moving the gouge like this to get a convex profile to the top surface of the wings. And it's far better to do this on a coarser stone than I'm using. This is a 80 grit stone. It'd be better to use a 60 or 36 grit stone for reshaping. But I don't happen to have one handy, so. Okay, so I've ground that. I've ground both sides until it meets in the middle. It looks like I've ground more off the bottom wing than the top wing, so I'm going to try grinding a little more off the top wing. Okay, so they come back about the same amount, and that flat, I now have the profile that I want on the side here. The end of the gouge is ground to the profile I want. Which is very slightly convex this way and convex there. Okay, for the Wolverine jig and the barra grind, They recommend making some sort of a guide so that you get the amount of tool sticking out in front, the same amount of tool sticking out in front every time you go and sharpen it, because that will affect the angle. They recommend drilling a hole, boring a hole in a piece of wood, and that works. I did do that originally, but I was always losing the piece of wood. So what I've done is I've scribed a line on the side of the V-arm cup, I guess, and I just put the end of I just butt the front of the bear grind up against there and slide the gouge in and out until it's even with the line, and that's 1 3/4 inches of stick out, which is what they recommend. And the arm, I haven't really done a lot of experimenting with it. But I am actually going to get one of my other gouges and set the arm rather than just grind away blind there. There. So that's the angle that I want. There. Okay. So now I know I've got a lot of metal to grind away. Here and here, so that's where I'm going to be concentrating most of my time here. So I've got the leg set into the cup, and I'm going to be doing most of my grinding over here and over here. Okay, so now I've got it shaped the way I want it. Now this, at the end, is the remnants of that 45-degree bevel that was on there. I have reshaped the bevel to close, probably 60 degrees, so there's no need for me to grind material off the nose to get rid of that. That will disappear gradually as I sharpen in the future, and I quite often want to soften that hard angle there at the base of the bevel, at the heel of the bevel anyway. So there. I'll probably, like what I do is I have a block of blood an inch thick. I just drop it into the cup, and that moves my leg forward, and I just do a quick grind. Just to get rid of that sharp angle there where the heel of the bevel is. So that's a ground that's taking a gouge from the traditional grind to a side grind. And I'm just touching my thumbnail to the edge and dragging it across very lightly, and it should catch or pull a shaving. If my thumbnail just slips across without any resistance, then I know the gouge isn't sharp. So that's the way I grind my side grind gouges. Other people don't come back as far. I think mine tend to creep back further as I'm grinding. As I sharpen them more, I start rolling further, and I wind up reshaping them from what I originally started out with, but I don't think it's all that important. So that's actually about 58 degrees, which is fine. Again, it's not, angles really aren't that critical. It's whatever you like or what you're used to. And they say they may not be the same. I try to match them each time, but whatever they were before, but if a little bit of error creeps in, then I'm trying to match that error. And that's probably the first time I put a protractor on a gouge since the last time somebody asked me what angle I sharpen to, because I don't really pay any attention to it. It's liable to change slightly as I grind the gouges over time. So anyway, that's how I take a gouge from traditional grind to side grind. That doesn't necessarily make it the right way, but that's the way I do it. Thank you for watching.